Welcome back with the excitement of the fall sports season here with football and basketball getting started up. You can celebrate College Colors Day, which is happening today with the colorful stories of the origins of mascots. Here to share more is our favorite college professor, celebrity historian Raffi Andonian. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, absolutely.
Yes.
I even wore my St. Louis University blue, which is where I got my MBA.
Oh, fantastic.
And that's what this is from.
Yes.
And this is a yellow from Harristow, which is where I teach. You mentioned professor.
Yes.
So this is Harristow Hornets right here. But of course, how can we not mention our local Pitt State
there we go.
Gorillas?
Which is perfect because today is Paint the Town Red in Pittsburgh. We'll also be live there at the 5 and 6 evening shows as well.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
Now, do you know how they became the Gorillas?
You know what? I don't.
It's about a century ago in the Roaring 20s. And the Roaring 20s makes sense for the story of the Gorillas because of the fact that there were a group of students that were not happy with the school spirit at that time, but they wanted to kind of really hype it up, and so they were gorillas was a slang term at the time for people who were roughnecks, were being really rowdy and crazy, and that's how they succeeded, and that's how the Gorillas attached. The Roaring 20s attached to the from the 1920s all the way to today for the century. That's right.
Fascinating.
That's right.
Now, where did mascots begin, and how did they get started just in general?
From opera, believe it or not. So kind of the opposite of roughnecks, if you will, right? There's an opera in 1880 known as the La Mascotte in Paris. It's French, and it's a story about a farmer who's having bad luck and whose brother brings him a woman to have good luck as a good luck charm, and that's how the term mascot gets attached to having good luck associated with a person or a figure or something that has some sort of power. Now, it's not the first time you're going to have using people or animals even for good luck, but the term mascot, now using things though, goes back centuries and centuries. You have them in ancient Egypt, you have King Hammurabi who uses them as, for example, dogs in battle as good luck sitting there. Even at the Battle of Gettysburg, there's actually, if you go to Gettysburg Battlefield where I used to work, there's a monument with a dog on there because the dog was the mascot of the unit that was following along the soldiers and was even licking their wounds in some accounts. Eventually was killed in battle, but these are the kinds of uses for mascots in the past. But how about here locally with the Civil War? It ties also to our region. So the Missouri Tigers, for example, are a Civil War term. So Bloody Bill Anderson, guerrilla warfare in Missouri, but there were people who resisted the Home Guard against Bloody Bill Anderson and guerrilla warfare. They were known as the Missouri Tigers. That got attached to university in 1890, which is about 25 years, a generation or so after the Civil War, commemorating them. So it actually makes sense from that era and sticking to that era. Of course, why were there the Missouri Tigers and why was there guerrilla warfare in the first place? Because there was a border war with Kansas, known still as the border war, Missouri versus Kansas, and you have the Jayhawks on the other side. That's a Civil War term, that's right, from the bleeding Kansas days when they were protecting, fighting for freedom, holding off forces that were coming in to establish slavery in Kansas, but the Jayhawkers were trying to resist them. Now here's what's interesting though. While Jayhawks are certainly associated with the identity of Kansans and the university, it's not the first time that Jayhawks were used. Jayhawks were used, believe it or not, in the gold rush to California as a group of people, particularly as a band of people that were coming over the Great Plains, and they called themselves the Jayhawkers because they foraged off the countryside, much like the Jayhawk bird, the mythical figure, is supposed to forage off its prey. So it was initially a gold rush term, but became known and of course popularized in Kansas, and hence all of these mascots have specific historical uses. I know we've used them for thousands of years, and yes, we use the opera term, but the gorillas here locally from the Roaring 20s and the Tigers and the Jayhawks have Civil War roots. So there's reasons behind all of these stories and our school spirit.
Yeah, certainly fascinating indeed. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Stick around. We'll be right back.